something in a place,
Oh.
and it was on the news, and he got cremated alive. I mean, he was sleeping and when he was supposed to be working, and I guess he covered up with a sheet, and and another employee put him into the furnace, and that was on the news. Now, I don't know if you can believe the news because, our president said, the news is fake.
No, news is always true, Gary. You know that.
That's what I say, but I've been conditioned in the past couple months that all the news is fake here. So I don't know, but that type of thing scares me.
Started with something that they jokingly said now becomes true because somebody just changed the story a little bit. Who knows? But yeah, that could happen.
Yeah.
So, okay. Any other questions you can think of?
Well, I mean, again, going back to situations like you were talking about the Titanic, I mean, yeah, it has come out in probably the last 15 years or so that the lower class, was it fourth class passengers, not the 30, but I think they were the lowest class,
Mm-hmm.
And the ship, when you're right, when they were more concerned that they would mix in with the first class and second class passengers. And so they the first thing they did was lock all the gates where they couldn't get out, and hundreds of them drowned. And went down with the ship. And I just wondering how many people, like you mentioned, there's been a lot about the Titanic. How about like from World War II? Some of the big battles and things like that. Have you run across anything like that?
Well, the ones I've been accumulating are more the atrocities that happened at the concentration camps, and there was a lot of stuff that I got. One of the stories was actually a German guard in it, and he felt bad about doing it because not all of them wanted to be in the war. Remember, you had no choice.
No, they didn't really.
They had to do it. So you get different aspects of it, and I've got, besides Jack the Ripper, I've got at least, I think, half a dozen other serial killers.
Well, how about Jack the Ripper? What did, how many, is it only been one? Have you ever had people come in and you hypnotize them and they say, hey, they were Hitler or they were Jack the Ripper, and you've had more than one person say that they were Jack the Ripper, or if you only had one person? No two people have ever been the same person twice. Now, I haven't had anybody that big, but I've actually had two people that were higher up on the German and the Nazi ranks. I can't remember the names offhand. But I also have heard that, and somebody that knew him quite well, that he had MPD, multiple personality disorder. So, again, I wasn't there, but I explained some of the things. One person was the nanny for Winston Churchill. So, in fact, when she heard him talking on the radio, she would know when it was one of his doubles, because he wouldn't be everywhere at the same time, and they would use doubles for also. And a lot of people do use that in case they're going to be assassinated or something. She recognized. She said one time listening to a broadcast and knew that wasn't him. It was just a double. Well, he had quite a few doubles, though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. A lot of people do.
Yeah.
The one lady, she's actually taught ballet, and what happened is she always felt that she was, I can't remember the name, Anastola or some Slavic name. And sure enough, it turned out she had been that one and died. But what was interesting is that she reported how she died, and we looked it up later, and the way she died from her past life experience wasn't quite the way it was put in the papers and stuff like that. So we went further back into smaller detail, and it had been changed. And it did earlier say how she died, and it was correct. So she had never seen that before. So there's somebody that certainly didn't make that up. So that was a confirmation of the sort too. So,
have you ever had anybody that after your session and stuff feel really guilty from their past life and had a hard time?
No, that's one thing it does. Yeah, that's what doesn't happen. It's not
Like I did have one day once said, well, what if I did something bad in a past life? Well, I said, I guarantee you did. Because what we do is we pick a lesson to roll. It's like picking a movie. Unless it's a chick flick, there's always a bad guy. And after they're all shooting for the day, they all go for a beer together. It's just a role. But in your current life, whoever's maybe been your worst enemy, quite often is one of your soul group members. You picked them to be that way. And now you know. And you end up sometimes you get karma, and I clear that up too. But no, I've never had anybody that has reported that they felt guilty. They lose it. The guilt is already there. They lose it from doing the session. As I tell people, one thing is that when you're doing a session, the worst thing that'll ever happen to you, the worst thing is nothing will happen. So how bad is that? Just you lose your money.
Yeah.
But no, there's no screaming into the night, none of that crap you see. That's stupid television. It does not happen by seeing these things. You let them go. You get better from it. Plus, there's one other factor. Your subconscious will never show your conscious anything that you couldn't handle. It's got an amnesia thing. Like you hear people seeing, young kids or witness a murder or something is very traumatic and they can't remember a thing, that type of stuff. That's because the conscious couldn't handle it, so the subconscious won't release it. It does happen. And what happens is that when you're ready to handle it, maybe it'll pop up a bit, but quite often you come to see me to help you find it. One of the worst cases, unfortunately, that's happened about amnesia is that I do get people come to me that have been sexually molested as a child. Often one lady, she couldn't remember anything in her life till about the age of 14. Not a thing. But she knew, and that's been blanked out. Now, when they come to see me, I make sure that they want to check it out. Make sure that they do want to, because they wouldn't show them if it wasn't ready, if they weren't ready for it. A lot of them want the closure. Some will sort of know who it might have been, or that type of thing. So when I work with them, yes, they've had it blocked. And it's not easy to unblock it yourself, because it's like if you take the finger out of the dike, is the dike going to collapse or something? So I work at it, and they say that you're supposed to show you what it needs to show you.
Oh,
and
wow.
It does. Yeah, but I've had actually one that was a misunderstanding. What happened to her as a younger child was not sexual. She just misunderstood, and there's a block that she didn't need. So she took care of that one. But I go a little bit further. I say, now that you see who or what it's about, then you're still going to take you back to why did it happen? And sure enough, it's not finished. Sometimes it's totally reverse roles. They were the bad guy and the victim, or just continuing. So once you do see that, it's very easy then to finish it and let it go. Just let it go. Otherwise, it's going to still be bothering you.
How about in relationships? I mean, people will say that go from marriage to marriage to marriage. I mean, is that something from their previous life? It could be where they, are searching for their original soulmate, and they just, I don't know.
No. Yeah, I go the other way. It's more like finishing off lessons. Let's put it this way. Apparently, we have lessons to finish. Now, let's say, being mathematical. Let's say that you had about 4 more years to go to learn a lesson, and you died too soon. So you got 4 more years to finish off. Now, it doesn't go away. Apparently, it's going to stay there because you finished it. And you might have other lessons, and sure enough, you get so many different aches and pains, whatever. Now, are you going to come back into a human form to learn a 4-year lesson and live about 80 years? You're going to get awfully bored or mischievous and cause karma and cause more problems. I'm finding that a lot of people more in the last 100 years or so are coming in to a life to finish off a bunch of lessons. Let's say you had 24-year lessons. Well, there's your 80. And some of them is that maybe with a certain spouse or from that life, you had to finish it off. Well, if you finish that 4 years in this life, sometimes we move on, because otherwise, if you stay too long, it can go the other direction. So that's why you're getting people also not working the same job as much, working 35 years, putting a nail into a piece of wood over and over. Oh, God, that would drive me nuts. But they got to get that money, that paycheck.
So we're doing less and less of that. More people are quitting their jobs, trying something new, traveling, going to different countries. It's happening a lot. Good example is my next younger brother. He was a computer programmer. Now, he took his training back in the days when they had reels, those big reels of tape.
Yeah. Back in the 50s, early 60s.
Well, 60s. So he did that for about 20-odd years. And out of the blue, him and his wife sold their house, lived in Vancouver, sold their house, everything, and moved to England to open a pub or buy a pub. Now, that's a bit of a change of career, isn't it?
That's a major one, yes.
Yeah. Now, what happened was that he, being a thinker, he didn't buy the first pub that came along. They went through over 40 different pubs around England and looked at them and stuff. And they narrowed it down to two pubs. One was in Brighton, England. You've probably heard of that one.
Yeah, Brighton, yes.
And the other was in a town half an hour from there called Seaford. Now, I always tell the people in the group, say out loud the word Seaford, okay? I always get interaction going. And I'll tell them that's the answer to a question, but I'm giving the answer now. So I said the deal fell through for the one in Seaford. Things happen for a reason. So he bought the one in, and I pause, and I look at them, they all yell Seaford. And I said, good. Now, he was there for about a year. It's a little tiny town on the English Channel. And he was working at it for a year. He calls me up back in Canada. He says, what are you doing? I said, well, it's 4 in the morning. Thank you. I was sleeping. He said, you want to come to England? No, I had never been there at that point. I've been there lots since then.
Uh-huh.
And I started waking up and I said, why? He said, well, they had a fire in the pub and the insurance didn't cover one of the buildings. And him and I used to do a bit of restoration work, fix stuff. So I said, well, you're paying for me to come over. He said, yep. So get over there, and I didn't realize that he had a hidden agenda. That's an interesting phrase, hidden agenda.
Uh-oh.
I sat down, and he said, I've been running my pub for a year, he said. And I said, yeah. And he said, I realize I don't like drunks. I said, those are your customers. He said, I know, but I don't like them. Well, you manage the pub for me. I said, no, I don't want to. I've already handled enough drunks when I was a cop. Forget it. Plus, I had taken up hypnotherapy and wanted to do that. So, anyhow, I was stayed for a while. Him and I, now he used to get migraine headaches, the only one in our family and that ever got migraines. And the migraines, I don't know if you've ever had them, but people with migraine headaches know that it's not a 10-minute, half an hour thing. It's usually 2 or 3 days.
Yeah, 2-3 days.
Yeah. Well, the average is about 2 days, and often in pain, or you have to be in the dark, lots of things. So what happened is he had one while I was there. So when he finished, I said, do you want me to take care of it? He said, yeah. So it turned out, now, backing up a pinch, when we were younger, we have different likes of, hobbies. When he was a kid, he loved toy soldiers. And I liked the cowboy guns and stuff, probably why I became a cop, I don't know. Now, in the middle of the night, toy soldiers weren't the nice soft plastic. They were their hard metal. And you ever step on them in the middle of the night, walk across the park, not happy. Now, backing up or going forward, when we were there, I said, you had the migraine, so I said, I'm just going to show you why you had the migraine. And he said, within a moment, he said, I'm a soldier. And I said, what's the details? He said, I'm in World War I. I'm a British soldier. I lied about my age. I'm only 16, and I'm over in the trenches. It's my first day there in the trench in France. I'm going to keep the Germans out. And he said, the whole day went by, it was quiet. He said, boring. He was all ready to, do some action. He said, they're not there. I'm going to look up. And I said, oh, no. He gets shot through the head. Both sides used to keep snipers for silly people looking up over the trench top.
Yeah, they used to do that to intimidate the other side.
So he got killed within a second. Never fired a shot in World War I. So I said, anything else? Sometimes we do have a couple of past lives that'll affect different parts of you, but similar. So he said, yes, I'm a soldier, World War II. And I said, wow, you really liked your soldiers, didn't you? Soldiers. So I said, what's the details? He said, I'm a Canadian soldier, but I'm in Britain being trained, because they often did that. They brought us over to, because those days we had to do what they told us.
Uh-huh.
And